All right, let's get this party started. Politician, comedian, commentator, one-man shows all over the place, an activist, brilliant guy who went to the Harvard Kennedy School of Business, and just so many great things. 60 Minutes 2 commentator, and here he is, right from Boston, Jimmy Tingle.
Maureen, thank you. With all those credits, how do I share on Facebook? That is the question of the day, Maureen.
Did you see the share button underneath?
Sorry. What?
Do you see our show?
Yes.
Do you see the share button beneath it?
I don't, and I'm so sorry. I'll try it again. I don't see it, but that's okay. You got all these followers. I'm sorry. Well, you know what? When we do it up on YouTube or something else, I'll share it then.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm happy you're here with me. I'm really glad. Have you been?
I've been good, Maureen. I'm living here in Boston, doing well, staying healthy, married 24 years, get along with my wife. We're having fun. My son's 22 years old. He just got out of school. So things are good. Things are good. I'm still performing when I can, doing a lot of things on Zoom like you or online. And pardon me?
Tell me this, because you were working on your 2020 Vision one-man show.
Yeah. Yep.
And then during the virus, bam, done.
Yeah. What I did is first of all, I ran for lieutenant governor in 2018. And the whole show, and people say, well, Jimmy, you're a comedian. Why would a comedian run for office? So that was like the premise of this show. I didn't win. Let me just say, first time running, Maureen. I don't want to brag. First time running.
Brag.
We got 213,313 votes. First time running, came in second place. So excellent. The bad news, two-person race. So the challenge, we got the silver medal is what I'm trying to say, Maureen. But first time running, I loved doing it. It was a lot of work. It was a year commitment. I stopped doing comedy. I just got into it because after the election of Trump, I said, you know what? If he can use his communication skills as an entertainer for his message, I could try to use my communication skills as an entertainer for my message. And I thought I could help the team. I thought I could help the Democrats. And so that's what I did. And after I had to go back into performing, and I just created a show around that experience, which was Jimmy Tingle's 2020 Vision. Why would a comedian run for office?
Well, Lieutenant Governor, you ran in Massachusetts. Now, Lieutenant Governor is like the vice president of the state.
Right.
See how I translate things for people?
Very good. I did the same thing because people, Jim, I'm voting for you. What does Lieutenant Governor do? That's the first question. What does Lieutenant Governor do? And you're basically a vice president to the governor. You're basically a liaison to the cities and towns, a liaison to the legislature. You're in the cabinet meetings. You're trying to help, enact the governor's agenda, work with the media, whatever it takes. What you're basically helping the governor and enact their agenda, whatever that is.
But you say, why would a comedian run? And sometimes that word comic or comedian for me feels limited. I mean, you went to the Harvard Kennedy School of Government. I was a journalist for Bloomberg and public television for years. I think people just think sometimes they hear the word comic and they think you're just always on juggling and like a circus clown.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a big spectrum, right, for comics, but generally speaking, if you got to pay attention, you got to think outside the box all the time. Many of us are our own managers, own agents, own producers, and you're basically self-starters in many ways. You're working alone. It takes a lot of ambition. It takes a lot of fortitude. You got to stay with it. It takes years to get good, and so there's all those qualities that go into being a really a good comic, and the similar skills are used for politics. You got to be able to speak publicly. You got to be able to articulate a message. You got to be able to be clear and concise in what you're trying to say, thought processes, and work with other people. And as comics, we're constantly working with the actual general public, so that's a big part of it as well.
I think the only thing you need to do to win next time is learn how to share on Facebook. That's it. I think you're set. I think he's set. And I think that's it.
And I also had to, Maureen, this is funny that you say that. You also have to learn how to share responsibility and to delegate and let people tell you what you should do. Because the whole thing is, if you've never run before, or even if you have people advising you who are, that's what they do. They run campaigns, and so they'll say things, and you got to listen to them.
Like
and it's
what? Tell me, what would they tell you to do?
Oh my God. I wanted to do events around the state. I wanted to do live events like Bernie, right? Or Trump for that matter, and they were saying, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do a live event? And it was just a different type of mindset. My whole thing as a performer is to be in front of people, and the traditional way you run for office is they want, you got to raise money. You got to be on the phone, and you got to be asking people for money. And I'm like calling total strangers. My entire life, I railed against money in politics. Now I'm calling people up. Hi, this is Jimmy Tingle. I'm running for lieutenant governor in the state of Massachusetts. I was wondering if you'd like to contribute to the campaign.
Yeah, is that hard? That's awkward, isn't it?
Are you the comedian? Why, yes, I am. And you like money for your campaign? That's correct. That's funny. That is funny. And of course, you have to ask your family and friends for money. And I'm in front of my family and friends. I'm giving them the rules. Okay, listen, you guys, I know you love me and I love you too, but there are certain rules when it comes to funding a campaign. Number one, you cannot give me cash. No cash. It's got to be a check. And it cannot be a business check. It has to be a personal check. Okay? Number one, no cash. Number two, personal check. And number three, this is very important. You cannot give me more than $1,000 in a calendar year. Got it? No more than $1,000 in any 12-month period. They're looking at me like, no problem.
See, this is why campaign finance
with the Tingle campaign.
Right. Well, what I want to talk to you, there's so much you do. Jimmy Tingle is my guest. This is my commercial break when I do this, Jimmy.
Oh, good. I like that.
It's very high tech. A lot of people watching here, please share. Just share with your friends. Start a watch party. That's what we need. We need watch parties. There's a little purple bucket of popcorn. Who eats purple popcorn? I have no idea. But anyway, just share. And if you have a comment, a lot of people are watching here, which is really great.
Cool.
So
hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today.
I have to go to my
Maureen. We love hanging with Langan.
I like that. Here's my store, you guys. I have Don't Make Me Hate You items, everything from the masks. Here we got masks, we got clocks. I have shower curtains, all kinds of t-shirts, baby onesies, coasters, books, you name it, we have it. And t-shirts, sure, all kinds. But Maureen, can I have a better look at the mask? You know you can. There we go. It's insane. It's insane. One more thing, because you think it's humiliating calling people asking for money for a campaign. How about this? You want to support me and be a patron of the arts? Go to paypal.me/Mo Langan or Venmo @Mo Langan. Also want to let you guys know, in case you know anybody, a lot of corporations, people doing Zoom meetings nationally, locally. I do all that. As a journalist, I keep it moving, I keep it fun. And as the comic, I keep it fun. And you have to be the glue, because a lot of people in the boxes and something goes wrong and they don't have a person to kind of keep it together. So there you have it, MaureenLangan.com. Hey, back to Jimmy Tingle. This is insane.
Maureen, that was an excellent pitch. You would do excellent at running for office. I'm not kidding you.
Yes.
You got to be able to pitch. You got to be able to say why people should vote for you. It's a different mindset. It's really, they don't want you to be humble. Don't be humble. You got to tell people why you need to win.
But it's the antithesis. I don't know about you, but I have the Irish mother and I grew up in the Irish family. It's the last thing you do is you don't get too big for your britches. You don't get uppity. Look at you making a show of yourself, right, which is what we do for a living. But right. Did you have that kind of like humble bullshit?
Yeah, I mean, I think naturally, first of all, it takes an ego to do it. So you got to have some sort of an ego to do comedy or whatever, or to run for office. But also it is, it is an odd thing to ask people. You got to be very assertive, and you got to not hold back, and you got to tell them why you deserve to be the lieutenant governor or whatever position you're running for. It's just part of the whole package.
Well, I want to go to a clip from your show. Hey, Damien says he thinks he saw you at Nick's Comedy Club, but he definitely saw you in Boston.
Okay, back in the day. Yep.
His early Price of Stamps made me like beer through my nose.
Oh, good. That's the kind of effect I have on the voters. Beer through the nose. That's why you need me in public office.
Well, I have to tell you, I mostly had beer through my nose. I've brought this up before when you and I performed together at the Winnipeg Comedy Festival.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the most fun festivals I've ever been at. Brilliant people in Winnipeg, great arts and culture. And we did a lot of different shows, big theaters. And one night they put us in a little theater, great little theater. And it was like, was it an X-rated show or a dirty show or a late night show?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
The woman,
I didn't have the material to do it. They're all talking about as dirty as they can possibly be, as blue as they can possibly be. I'm up there going, how about bottled water, ladies and gentlemen? How about the ingredients charts on the bottled water? Huh? I don't have an edge. How about this? No fat, no sugar, no carbohydrates. No kidding. What? That's not funny at midnight?
well, you and I were, in the wings, and there was a woman dry humping a stool of simulated sex. And I have to go next. And you're like, I wish I could do a Boston accent, but you're like, Maureen, what are we going to do? Jesus, what the hell are we going to do here? And then I hear Maureen Lang, and I go, good luck to you, Jimmy. And I have to go to the stage. So I dry hump the thing. I'm dry humping a stool. I go, you guys, I'm dry humping. I don't know why this seems to be the thing to do. I'm in. What do you want? $1 per pound. I'm dry humping a stool because I want to connect with you. That's what you do. I'm not mocking the woman who went before me. She was hysterical. It's more like you got to take what they just threw at you and go, okay, I caught the ball. Let me go. That was cool. But the serious side of Mr. Tingle, I just this weekend sent a letter to the Women's League of Voting. What am I saying? What's it called? The
League of Women Voters.
League of Women Voters. I emailed them and I said, with all these rallies going on, why can't we set up some tables at the start of them to get people registered to vote? We've got masses of people out there, a lot of young people. Let's get them registered in case they're not. And I know.
Great point. Great point.
I'll put out a table, a little shingle. What do you mean? Just nobody touch me. That's it. Just don't touch me. Anyway, here's a clip from your one-man show, 2020 Vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys take a listen to this.
It's about getting involved.
Yep, here we go. Get involved.
I don't care what side of the political aisle you're on. Left wing, right wing, Republican, Democrat, Green Party, Tea Party. Get involved. Help your team. Help a candidate. Help a ballot question. You feel good. If your side wins, you feel good. You participated. You did something positive. And if they lose, at least you tried. At least you put your actions where your ideas are. So Election Day 2016, my job was to hold a sign for Hillary Clinton in Central Square, Cambridge, Massachusetts, and get predominantly young people coming up out of the subways to the polls. So I'm out there with the sign, let's do this, people! Let's do this! It's Election Day! Let's elect the first woman president of the United States of America! Let's do this! People are coming up out of the subway, they got the headphones on, young and old. A lot of them aren't listening to me. They're ignoring me, right? After 2 or 3 hours of this, I start getting upset. I start making things up. Listen, people, I did not risk my life at the Battle of the Bulge. So people could not vote on Election Day. They're out there walking past me, not even listening, oblivious to me. 3 hours later, I get even more bizarre. Listen, you kids. I did not take a musket ball to the knee at the Battle of Bunker Hill so young professionals in Cambridge could squander their constitutional rights to vote. This kid comes up to me, about 19 years old, dead serious, looks me in the eye and says, "Thank you for your service." Now, I know we're all getting older, but 241?
Very good. That is from Jimmy Tingle's 2020 Vision one-man show.
Yeah, we did that at the Sanders Theater up at Harvard, February 29th, and 2 weeks later we were in lockdown. So right now I'm just editing the show and hopefully get it out there in some form or fashion. But how do I look for 241, Marie?
You look really great. You look
for 241.
241. That was so funny. So, well, you know what? I was performing in New York City, and well, that's where I live. And the front row, I was teasing. I said, this is before the virus, but I said, these reality stars, these Kardashians, they're like suffragettes without intelligence, integrity, or a cause. And the the gals and guys in the front row, I'm like, do you know what? You don't know what a suffragette is. Well, I heard of them. I go, I'm going to kill myself. And I wrapped it up. I'm going to kill myself. These are women who were hosed and force fed so that you in jail, so you could have the right to vote. And some of you voted for Trump. What the hell? Right. But anyway. So do you ever, I mean, you have a huge following. You're very well known. People are, they buy a ticket to see you. But have you ever found that anything you've done on the stage with your shows polarizes anyone or there's any backlash?
Yeah, over the years, definitely. But what usually happens is you start doing, one of the reasons I wanted to work in theaters is so you can do, it's your play. It's your one-man person, one-person show. So usually the people are coming there, they're expecting that. There's one person on the bill. It's not like they go to the theater every week and who's there this week. It's they made an effort to come, they pay a little more usually. And so there's a program, they kind of know what they're getting into for the most part. So I don't really get that so much anymore. If you do with the general public, if the general public, or if you're doing private gigs, sometimes people are, not everybody's on board. If you're just plopping into their thing, not everybody's on board. But if they're coming to your thing, there's a much better chance that everybody's gonna kind of know what to expect.
Right, and you have a following and you're in a theater. I love the theaters. Will you find yourself being in a theater, say, just for a weekend and then moving to another theater, or will you have an extended run?
The one I did at Sanders Theater was only one night, but back in the day when we were doing this, I like the extended run personally. I like sit down and really can perfect the show and get it ready for television, get it ready to be, for Netflix or HBO or whatever. But that's the way to really get it ready, to be in one place for 6 weeks or so, working with the director, editing things out, making it better. That's really the way to hone it. It's harder. It's harder to do just a series of one-nighters, but it depends what the ultimate goal is. If you're just touring and you just want to do your show, then the one-nighters are great.
So here we go, look at Maureen Langan. Oh, what is he doing? I'll tell you. What's it called? Oh, 2020 Vision, his one-man show. There you go, everybody, 2020 Vision, one-man show. It's just so talented. So this thing, it's all so insane, so crazy. So when you do a one-person show, how many have you done?
I started doing them I started doing them in the 90s. The first one I did off Broadway was at the American Place Theater. And actually, that was called Jimmy Tingle's Uncommon Sense. And we did it, and that ran for about 2 or 3 months there. And that was great. When I did that, anyway, Jack Rollins at the time had come out of retirement and worked with me, which was a huge honor. And we got some nice press in the New York Times, but it didn't go to the next level. So I went back to Boston. I did the Hasty Pudding Theater up here in Boston, which is a famous theater. And I just rented it out and put myself in there. Because a lot of times, Maureen, as you know, you gotta kind of take the initiative on your own.
You have no other choice. Let me tell you this, Jimmy. Well, I don't know who Mr. Rawlings is. Forgive my ignorance. I'm sure many people may know.
Joffrey, he managed Woody Allen for years, and he managed Letterman, and he was, this great guy and great manager, and he actually put his own money into the show. He was just awesome. He had been retired, and he liked what I was doing, so he came out and helped me. But that's just an example. But even with that type of support, it's hit or miss. It doesn't always work.
So when
commercially successful.
Well, that's the whole thing. And people, I don't know if they know how much work goes into it. I did Daughter of a Garbage Man for a few years, and I just put it on the back burner. I got to move on from it. It's about growing up the daughter of a New York City sanitation worker, a mom from Ireland, and it juxtaposes the the working class values, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of that. The push for education. Juxtaposed with today's reality show, mindless world, and so you have the humor and the depth. But I had people will say, Maureen, you did that in San Francisco for a year. How can I do that? I'm like, I could start writing, and you can go to a bookstore and read what you have so far, and then you can go in front of a senior center and ask if you can do a half hour of it. That's what you can do. That's how you can. People don't have any idea the level of work that goes into it. I don't think
it's a ton of work. And but I imagine you doing that show was incredibly rewarding for you as just an artist and a writer and a performer.
Sure. And I worked with David Ford, who's very renowned out in San Francisco
Right.
Bay Area. But you also, too, like even somebody as well known as you, it's like you said, it's still an uphill battle at times. And
Yeah.
I did do it in Florida recently, but there was going to be another venue where I wanted to work it out. And the guy said, I have to clean the bathrooms. I said, well, I'm not cleaning the bathrooms. I mean, I'm pretty humble. I'm not cleaning your bathrooms.
Yeah.
You have to. I said, well, I'm not going to. He said, but you have to. I said, I hear you and you're yelling now, but I like, I'm not, hey, miss, I'm not going to the Tidy Bowl Theater, Mr. Mop and Slop. I am not going to your time. And he goes, but you have to. And I said, but I am not. He goes, well, then why don't we cancel it? I said, okay, click. And then a week later, so you're still doing it, right? I go, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm not cleaning your toilets.
And the theaters are all on this shoestring budget. So you got to bring your own people. It's tough, but the people don't do it for the money. I mean, how do you make $1 million in theater? Start off with 2 million. You know, people don't do it for the money. They do it because it's something inside them, driving them, and they want to do it. And just and it's a great way to do your thing. And now, I mean, if you get it really good, there are options like there's HBO and Netflix and Showtime and those places that, you know, if they like what you're doing, there's opportunities there too. Or you can put it on YouTube. My friend Nick DiPaolo did his show. He put it on YouTube, put it on his website, and he just, you know, does it there, and he's having more success. He said that it's just the freedom of doing it, and people come and they like it, and you can have a donate, you know, button there. So
you can have a donate button like that, like paypal.me/.
You need to manage my next campaign, Maureen. Yes, you need a donate button. And then people can appreciate the work that goes into it and want to support you, even if they don't, you know, and so they want to give you $5, $10, $20, $50, whatever they want to give you. They can at Maureen PayPal. What's the address?
Oh, please stand by. Really? That's so sweet of you. You mean paypal.me/Mo Langan?
Let's get behind Maureen, ladies and gentlemen. She had a table out there for the League of Women Voters during a riot. She was up there with a table collecting signatures during a riot. Let's step up and help Maureen Langan.
Commercial break, or you can buy "Don't Make Me Hate You" products like this mask. You don't want to hate people; they make you hate them. You are a victim. You're all about love. Oh, would you like a T-shirt? Sure, you would. I'm a woman. I want a V-neck. Yeah, you do. There it is. I would give a gift for the baby shower. I would love a onesie. I mean, all this, it's insane. You know what I mean? Just go to molangan.com store, and we have all that stuff out there. Kathleen, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, and people, I look at, if you donate, you can get on this show. That's how I got this gig.
Stop it. You did a donation, and I was embarrassed. I
love to support you. I know what you're doing. I know how good you are, how funny you are, how sincere and authentic your one-person show was. I want to support you. And just taking the initiative to do this show every day for this week. I mean, that's an awesome thing to do. It's good for me. It's good for you. It's good for your audience. And also, you take the initiative and do it. You make your own breaks. People, we have to start waiting for the phone to ring for our big break. You got to make your breaks.
So I got to go check out Nick DiPaolo's show on YouTube. Is it stand-up or is it a one-man show?
Yeah, it's on his website. Stand-up. Yeah. You know, and Nick's a Boston guy. And so I had talked to him about doing it. And Colin Quinn's a good friend, and he's done several. But here's just an example of making money. Even with Jerry Seinfeld behind him, he said, you know, we did it on Broadway. It's still technically, you know, got great reviews, great experience, but making more than you put into it is always a big challenge.
Well, I saw his show down, I think it was at the Cherry Lane Theater. Yes. I saw that. I like Colin very much. Yeah. He's like, I don't know, everybody's our kind of people, but there's something,
great. He's great. Good friend. And Red State, Blue State. And here's an example. Red State, Blue State, you know, CNN liked it. And, you know, CNN put it on, and then Netflix bought it and put it on. So there's ways to get things out there that, and that's really, I imagine, Maureen, did you try to get your show picked up or anything like that?
I was going to ask you how you went about that. I don't want to. I got to move on from it. It's very personal.
Yeah. And
it's very vulnerable. And, I was putting it out there for 4 years, and I humbly say, standing ovations. It's very real. It's all open, yeah. But it gets too vulnerable to do. And there's a couple scenes that I'm like, I can't keep doing this. It just hurts.
Yeah.
So like, you know what? I'm done. I've did that. Now it's the forward. But I didn't want, I don't know. There was just something stopping me from wanting to take it even further.
You didn't want the exposure. You wouldn't feel right about having it on HBO or Showtime. Or,
is there something wrong with me? I don't know. I didn't want
no,
to.
man. No, it's the good thing about the theater is you're in control of it.
Intimate.
200 people is intimate, right? And you're in control, and the cathartic dimension is huge because you're getting stuff out that's been in you your whole life for the most part, right?
And then it's done. I could write a book more easily than want to perform on Netflix or Showtime or whatever. Though the next one I was supposed to take it to Edinburgh to start, workshopping. It really is Don't Make Me Hate You.
Yeah.
And it really is about being all about, you want to love, but what you look and you go, please don't make me hate you.
Yeah.
How are you handling this, Jimmy?
Let me say one thing. Edinburgh was great. I did it in the early 90s. I did it with Bill Hicks and Dennis Leary, and we were there. And before it became so big, but it was still a great place to go for an American comic back in the day. There weren't a lot of Americans over there, and it was a blast, and got a lot of favorable press over there because you got an American point of view over there in Scotland, and the Brits loved it. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: did the three of you, Hicks, Dennis Leary, and you, were the three of you in one show together, or were we each individual?
No, we were just there at different times. I mean, different venues. We were there at the same time. 91, I think, 90, 91, 92. But they loved Bill, they loved Dennis, and my show did well as well. And it was just it wasn't as popular. The one-person show wasn't as popular here. Over there, they a lot of them do that. But anyway, it was a great experience. So I recommend it.
Your show you did there.
Pardon me?
What was the name of the show that you did?
Uncommon Sense.
Oh, Uncommon Sense. Yeah. Well, there's an up and coming comic. He's pretty established now in Boston, Orlando Baxter. I don't know if you know him. Yeah. He and I were over together.
Yeah.
And
in Edinburgh.
Yeah. And we did Switzerland together, South Africa. We just kept doing things, not on purpose, but like we were just at the same time. So he's become a dear friend of mine. But you're over there.
Comic, I hear.
Oh, he's a great guy and a good guy. And you guys should follow him. Orlando Baxter, funny, understated, was a teacher. He has stories. But anyway, you're there together. I'm sure you had this experience. Sometimes you get great reviews. Sometimes you have a bad night. And we would just like commiserate and go walk for miles and miles and hike. And it's like, Maureen, how far is this hike? I go, we're almost done. He goes, you said that an hour ago. So anyway, yeah, and I'm sad that I can't go back this year. I went one other year. This is what I wanted to ask you. And again, they're very evolved audiences over there, very smart. How do you handle right now? Because I'm torn politically. I'm not torn where I'm going. I'll vote for a turtle with a tumor. But how do you handle being close to people who support Trump and say some of the things and mirror some of the things he's saying, which often is abhorrent? How do you, I feel there's a moral line in the sand right now, unlike any that's ever existed politically. I'm curious how you deal with that. Is everybody about love, or do you go, whoa?
Well, you know what? My philosophy from after he won, I have friends that I grew up with who support him, some family members. My thing was, hey guys, congratulations, you guys won. Let's see what happens. And that just gave them the respect that they wanted. That's their guy. They wanted him. They gave him the respect that they wanted. And me, just like that's the way it goes. When I was supporting Obama or whoever I suppose is supported and they won, I felt good, right? I didn't want people to be demonizing them, even though that happened. So anyway, I just try to treat them the way I would want to be treated if the shoe was on the other foot. Now it's like, I really think, Maureen, I'm trying to bring people in. You asked me if I get hecklers and stuff on my show. I barely talk about Trump in 2020 vision. I'm talking about hopefully solutions, hopefully ideals, hopefully values. And I'm trying to bring people in because there's a lot of people in the country that are on the fence. They may have voted for him and they're looking at what's going on and they're saying, you know what, we need an alternative, but they don't want to feel humiliated. They don't want to be demonized.
Yeah, I got to do better with that, I guess. Because when I see what happened at the DC peaceful protesters last week, and I'm looking
yeah.
at, I don't have anybody filtering it from a news source. I'm looking at it firsthand.
Yeah.
And when I go, is anybody, I was online, I was on the .com, like, is anybody watching this? I go, this is the most un-American thing. And people are, Maureen, you have to respect our president. They're coming at me. And I'm like, do you understand your rights as an American? And where's the tank? Like Tiananmen Square. So that's where I don't know what to do when people, when he comes for you, what will you do? That's so I feel that way.
You know what, Maureen? What you said earlier about setting up a table at a protest and getting people, for me, the argument was done during the last campaign. I already know who I like. He's not the guy. So I'm going to help who's ever running against him. So I think we take the energy of the anger of, counter posting on Facebook or Twitter, on the battles, right? All the battles, they're not going to get anywhere. We need to organize, don't agonize, organize.
Organize, don't agonize. Organize, don't agonize. Because I watch everybody out there, I'm like, your marching is great. I'm so about that. But now what are you going to do? Vote, 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 vote.
Next step.
If you're African American, support that African American business. If I want women, I mean, listen, I'll support everybody, but they were all in the tent together. But as a woman, I go to a woman doctor. I try to help bring each other up. If I can hire, somebody, if I can, you hire, your friends, whoever.
Right.
Hey, so Chris,
but I think that's what we got to do. Just get involved. My wife asked me, I got friends and relatives in upstate New York. Jimmy, we need a course in Activism 101. And here's what you can do. Call your local Democratic Party. If you're a Democrat, call your local Democrat. Call Biden for president. Your local Biden for president. Call your local Democratic State Committee in California, in Nevada, Massachusetts, Maine, wherever you live. Get involved. They need people to make phone calls. They need people to write letters. They need people to, be proactive. It's so much more cathartic than just fighting with people on social media or watching the media or just getting upset. Take action. That's the reason I ran for office, and that's one of the best things I ever did. And it's just like it's like writing the one person show. It's like, you know what? I'm not going to listen. If I don't fit in a comedy club, I'm going to do my own thing, and I'm going to be much happier doing it. And the same applies to our politics.
Well, you that's good. I have to, I'm not vicious. I really want people to come together and be respectful. Yeah. I think when I watched those people, the peaceful protesters having rubber bullets and tear gas, I was irate. I was shaking because that is so un-American. And then get back, Maureen, what's wrong with you? Stop. You're like, what's wrong with me? Everybody should be outraged, no matter where you stand politically, to watch peaceful not rioters, not looters. We should all say, oh my God, these are my values. This is what we are built on revolution. We wouldn't exist without protest.
Nonviolent protest. Martin Luther King. That's what it's all about.
And with that said, Chris, my friend Kathleen Hahn says we have a mutual friend. You have a mutual friend, Chris Britt, and he's watching.
Oh, good. Hey, Chris. Chris was great. He used to work at my theater in Davis Square, Somerville. Great kid, and he used to help Mort Saul a lot, and out in San Francisco as well.
Yeah, and Kathleen's very close to Mort.
Oh,
so what will you do? Okay. What are the chances of Biden winning, do you think?
Good. I think they're good. But here's the thing, Maureen. We got to bring people in. We got to take all those people who watch the president and go, wow, this is crazy. There's a ton of independents who do not support him. There's a lot of Republicans who don't support him. There's a whole group called the Lincoln Project, and they're former Republican speechwriters and activists and fundraisers. They don't want it. We've had our share of them. Okay, we see what we're getting. We don't want it. We want something else. And I think we got to be respectful to those people, bring them in and give them a viable alternative and say, welcome. Don't push them away.
Well, being a Republican is vastly different than being a Trumpster. So I don't want to be, they're vastly different types, and very different. So the respect, I have for one is more than the other. That's all. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I know I have to be more respectful, but it's hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, when people say, Maureen, what's your problem with him? I'm like, I don't know, maybe not supporting journalists or journalists who are killed, or maybe sending Otto Warren by our home like a vegetable to die. I don't know, maybe things like that. But
how about just the whole element of dishonesty, the fundamental operational his modus operandi of just dishonesty, starting with Obama's birth certificate, starting with preaching that nonsense for years and undermining the president of the United States, undermining his authority, and just planting the seeds of discontent for years before he ever ran on that lie and got all kinds of free media time. I think I'm hopeful about the future for a couple of reasons. Number one, the whole horrible situation with Minneapolis and George Floyd and all of that. I think it's going to usher in a new era of activism, of people reforming things that are wrong, not only with the police and again, this isn't a perfect example. The police, probably 90%, 99% of the police condemn what happened.
Of course.
Don't demonize them. You know what I mean?
What worries me too, because my cousin's like, I get right now we're in a Black Lives Matter. I get that. I support that. Because my husband's life matters too. He's a cop. Please, he's a good cop. And I'm with him. I have 2 people in my family who are cops, and they are good. They said, my goal, get home to my family every night. That's my goal. Get home to my family.
Right.
So I'm with you. I think for Biden, it's going to come down to his VP pick is going to be essential. Very essential. And I know who I think it's going to be. Who do you think it's going to be?
Well, the conventional wisdom says maybe Amy Klobuchar, maybe Elizabeth Warren. But I don't know. I really don't. I think it'll maybe surprise a lot of people, but I don't know.
I think Gretchen Whitmer from Michigan.
Okay.
It's going to be Gretchen. Battleground state. I don't think they want a person of color. I don't think so, even though I have no issue with that at all. I think that's going to be, I think we're in a backlash of women and people of color, but hopefully now it's moving forward. But Gretchen Whitmer is a very bright woman, likable, not strident. You can't be strident if you're a woman, no matter how valuable you are, no matter how much you know. It's unfortunate. I like this Katie Porter congresswoman from with her flow chart, her numbers.
I think I got to do an event with her a few months ago. She's really funny, down to earth, really smart, and very effective at what she's doing.
Yeah, I'm seeing a big future for her.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. So Jimmy, did you grow up in Boston?
I did. Grew up in Cambridge. Yep, born and raised. Started doing comedy in 1980 with the Ding Ho. By the way, you asked me if there's anything coming up. We're doing a Ding Ho reunion, a 40th anniversary at the Ding Ho, which was the comedy club in Inman Square, Cambridge, that Lenny Clark was the host on open mic night. Barry Cremens was the founder, and Barry sadly passed away last year. And it's a tribute to him, and it's a fundraiser for his wife, Helen. So that's going to be July 3rd, and you can get tickets at jimmytingle.com, and all proceeds to benefit Helen and her medical expenses and her living expenses. But out of that Ding Ho, it's a little Chinese restaurant in Inman Square, Cambridge. It started in 1980. Out of there came Paula Poundstone, Stephen Wright, Jack Gallagher, Lenny, Dennis Leary, a lot of folks. And the next generation was Louis and Dane Cook and Bill Burr and Orlando, and Tony V is going to be there, Jack Gallagher. It'll be a blast. It'll be all these people, be about 20 of us who started 40 years ago there. And so it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll be doing it online. So please come join us, jimmytingle.com. You can get tickets July 3rd, 7:30. It'll be a lot of fun.
Okay, so I'm going to post that right now. And you guys, you can go to, here it is, jimmytingle.com. All the information will be there. It's July 3rd. And spell Cremen's last name,
Crimmins, Crimmins.
And if you folks, there's a great documentary on Crimmins, Barry Crimmins. And
the documentary was done by Bobby Goldthwait, and hopefully Bobby will be on the bill as well. But he already did a great documentary on Barry Crimmins called Call Me Lucky. So that's on Netflix. You can go there and you can support Barry there. And if you can support Helen Crimmins at HelenCrimmins.com, there's a bunch of photos and books on Barry and DVDs and things. So it'll be a great event, and I hope you can join us.
And you need any information on this, it's at jimmytingle.com. Hey, I hope that you sell your 2020 vision. What do you approach Netflix, or do they approach you, or do you have?
I'm working right now. I'm editing it down from 90 minutes to an hour. And my whole thing is I want to bring people in. I'm not trying to push people out. I don't want to alienate people. We got enough alienation in the country. We need to bring people in and move forward on our values, basic American values, like you had mentioned earlier. That's what we got to stay with our principles: life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and treating people with respect. How about that?
Yeah. You know what? You've really, I tend to be pretty open-minded and loving, but you've gotten me to be more open-minded, less defensive.
Okay. This is a perfect time to bring out that PayPal link again, because people need a mask at this time. If you're feeling hopeful and idealistic, you need a mask or the onesie or the.
Oh, there we go. Is that that's my clothing line, you guys. So insane. I know it's insane.
Love it.
So
what company are you with, Maureen?
PayPal.me/Mo Langen. No, my store is at molangen.com. Just go to molangen.com. And also, you guys, I do a lot of video hosting, corporate events, and things like that. So you can always reach out. Or if you want to sponsor the show, how do you do that? Oh, you just reach me. That's what you do. I'm like insane. This is insane. I know. There you go. This could be you.
Maybe we'll do a Ding Ho reunion sponsorship thing here.
Well, you know what? I'll do it for you anytime. Just give me the information. I'll put it up there. I'd love to put it up there. Okay. Just send me the information and it'll be up tomorrow. Cool. I mean that, please.
Thank you.
It would be an honor. So, and I do want to know, hold with me after I say goodbye. I want to ask one question of people. Look at this. Now everything's going. Maureen Langen has a lot happening. Very professional person. You have no idea. So tomorrow, you guys, I have a really great lineup for you all week long. And on Friday, a comedy friend that I met in Switzerland and did a festival in South Africa. He lives in Russia, raised in Russia. He's going to be on from St. Petersburg live with me. So excited. Igor Mearson. It's fun to see people from all over the world and get their perspective. I love that.
Igor, I love that.
Igor. So tomorrow, you guys, same bat time, same bat channel. I love you guys for watching. I love you guys for supporting. And as Jimmy said, let's just be respectful. Let's open the tent. Let's be kind. Let's not react when people say, don't trust the media. Even though I was a journalist, don't react. Don't react even though they're undermining America.
But take action. Do something. Just don't sit there. Do something. Get involved. Go to joebiden.com. Sign up to help his campaign. Go to your local state Democratic committee and get involved. They need help, and that's the only way we're going to do it. If you don't have money, you can help with other ways. And if you have money, you can donate. So whatever you can do, we'll be a better country for it. I tell you that. All
right. So you just hang one second. I'm going to say goodbye to all of you. I'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Thanks for being with me, you guys. Love you. Mwah!